Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to come together, to join together as one, to conduct the business of the Cherokee people. We ask your leadership and your guidance as we make decisions relating to the education departments and education opportunities for our people. And we ask you to bless all those this season who struggle with warm homes and not enough food, and help us to always not forget those people in this time of year. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You roll call, Michelle.
Yes, sir. David Walkingstick.
Honey.
Don Garvin.
Honey.
Bill England. Keith Austin.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield.
Honey.
Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell. Denise Taylor. Here. David Thornton. Victoria Vesquez.
Honey.
Brian Warner. We have a quorum.
All right. Hear a motion to approve the minutes of November 14th, 2016.
So moved. Second.
Moved. Second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Down to reports. Talking to East Job Corps. Miss Diane Kelly is MIA.
Drop down.
All right, drop down to the next Education Executive Director's Report, Mr. Ron Etheridge and Ms. Jennifer Pigeon.
Jennifer has some things for you, some dates that she wants to give you to look at. Other than that, you have our reports. If you have any questions when she concludes, please feel free to ask. And then also sitting in for Verna today, and actually same thing applies there. She's got required to be in a couple of meetings, mandated meetings, the next 2 afternoons, 5 o'clock in Tulsa, and she's unable to be here.
A couple of deadline reminders that we have for the scholarship. This Friday, December 16th at 5 p.m. is the concurrent enrollment deadline. So new or continuing students need to apply by Friday. The second one is for the Cherokee Nation Scholarship, which includes undergraduate, graduate, and promise. The deadline for spring 17 renewal is December 28th. And so those students will email in their transcript with their current fall 16 grades and their self-help service hours.
Is this 5 p.m.?
Yes, 5 p.m. Central
December
Standard Time.
28th?
Let me a quick question.
Yes,
On the
Councilwoman.
second one,
We
you
have
said
to get that specific.
the spring of 17, what were the
Transcript
categories?
with their spring 17, their fall 16 grades and the self-help service hours.
Okay.
Undergraduate, graduate, and
Would
promise.
you email that to Gail, then she can distribute,
Okay.
so we
Thank
have
you.
the dates
And
right?
we've sent a couple of emails to all the students, as well as we sent a postcard last week, so everybody should get either an email or hard copies. Hopefully that helps us.
Any other questions? Yes, Councilman Lake.
Can there, we've asked this before, can there be new students? Can they also meet this deadline for the spring semester?
Not for the Cherokee Nation Scholarship, but concurrent can.
Any other questions? You guys are doing a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
You guys are invited to our council feed tomorrow, luncheon, so bring your staff.
Your entourage.
7 o'clock.
Be there. I have a legislative meeting in Broken Arrow tomorrow. So I'll see here about
I'll eat your plate.
legislation that's gonna take place.
I'll take care of your plate, Bill. I'll eat it.
Okay.
All right, down to Sequoia High School, Superintendent Leroy Qualls.
Good afternoon. I'm just happy to be here. As usual, you got my report that I sent in earlier, and if you have any questions about anything on that, I'll be able to I'll be happy to try to answer your questions. I will go ahead and start on my supplemental report here. This week's our testing finals week at Sequoia High School. And first week back in January, just to give you an idea, we're having our finals this week, and our first week back, the first day, we start the BIE NWEA MAP testing again, which is pretty much what we started the school year with. It's a requirement from the BIE, and our kids will be tested this week and in that first week back to get them thinking about academic events to get us going. One thing here I want to report on is that my numbers may be wrong, but I was thinking that 4 years ago we had around 31 concurrently enrolled students. And if everything holds true for the next semester, we'll have 63. That'll be more than doubled. And, as always, I don't have the number of those 63 that would be Cherokee, but it's usually all of them but 10 or 11 or 12 kids. So that's a pretty good thing. Our freshman basketball teams are off to a good start this year. They're both, boys and girls, are 7-0. And their last game, home game, will be this Thursday for the semester against Roland at 5 o'clock. Now, our Lady Indian basketball team, varsity's coming off the Tahlequah Tournament championship. And they won a close game and played really well. And we had an MVP of the tournament, Cena Hayes, and also made the all-tournament team was Kimber Tyon. And they are currently ranked number 2 in the state of Oklahoma. And our boys did extremely well too. They lost in the finals, but it could have went either way. Lost by 1 point. And the Friday night semifinal game, they won by 1 point with no time left on the clock. Made 2 free throws. So it was a great tournament, great competition, and our teams did a great job of representing our school. And our boys are currently ranked number 4 in the Oklahoma basketball rankings. And Tyus Daughtery, who made the free throws on Friday night with no time left, was selected to the all-tournament team. And I believe Elin Eagle was also. Coming up, we've got the boys will be playing Tulsa Union in the Tournament of Champions on December the 28th. They're rated number 3 in 6A. And that will be a very stiff challenge for anyone. But if you ever look at that bracket, there's no easy teams in it. And that's why it's called Tournament of Champions. But it's an honor for them to be playing there, and I'm sure they're going to represent us well and really compete hard. Our girls will open up the second semester in the Shrine Tournament, and that'll be January the 3rd. That starting of the tournament will be then. Where's it? The Shrine, Muskogee, be at the Civic Center mostly. I think the first round game may be at Muskogee High School. That's for a good cause. They raise a lot of money for kids and have a lot of good teams over there. And this Friday night, if you're around, both teams will end the semester playing Siloam Springs at home. And that'll be the last home game for a while. The wrestlers go to Springdale Harbor High School the 15th, this Thursday. And they'll also be hosting a high school wrestling tournament December the 28th and 29th during the break. And it's a high school tournament, and they're expecting quite a few teams and a lot of people there. Last Thursday, we had a busy evening. We had our band concert, we had a parent meeting, we had a school board meeting, and we also had an open house for the dorms. And there were quite a few people that made it and did the open house and did the parent meeting and the band concert, not to mention the basketball games we had up at the Tahlequah tournament. So it was kind of a busy evening. but there were a lot of positive comments about the dorms from the parents and the visitors that went through them. Our dorm staffs worked very hard to get them really cleaned up and looking good over there. This school year, we got 21 tribes representing the student body at Sequoia High School. 315 of those, of our 364 students, 315 are Cherokee. And our dorm count is at 64. Student body count's 364. Tyler Barnett, football player for the Indians, made the Muskogee Phoenix All-Area team. Was named yesterday, I believe. And our immersion kids are having a program at 9 o'clock Friday morning. If you've never been to one of those, it's a treat. It's all in Cherokee. And they start with 3-year-olds and go way up to, the 8th grade. And their Christmas dinner will be starting about 10:30. High schools will start a little bit after 11, and everyone is invited if you want to come and eat with us Friday. And one last thing, we've got a co-op project with the immersion on a grant. I've told you about how it's improved our math scores. There's a component in there that helps pays for gardening, and we're going to have our high school kids tend to a garden. There's college kids here on our campus today, and some are graduates. There's 16 of them, 2 from Wisconsin, 2 from Connecticut, 1 from New York, and they're from all over the country, 2 from California, and they're fixing the garden with a little bit of supervision. And planted right next to the dorm, and our dorm kids will be able to help tend to the garden as part of their evening activities. I think that's pretty neat. It's not a real big deal, but to me it's kind of a big deal. That concludes my report.
That's Speaker Byrd.
Couple of comments. One, the concurrent enrollment has doubled.
In the last 4 years.
What's the cost of that on the concurrent enrollment? We said you had 30 something last year. We will double that. What's the cost on that?
Well, if they take 6 hours, it's usually under $2,000. I mean, under $1,000, I'm sorry. It's most all of them are at Northeastern.
Okay.
And I don't know. Jennifer would know more than I would about the projection and the estimate of the whole amount.
Okay.
Because she handles that.
Secondly, if we have about 64 in the dorm, how much more do we get per student that's in the dorm?
It's
versus
doubled.
Just a day student? Double?
It's doubled as compared to a day student, the funding that we get.
Okay.
Did a little bit more research, and we could hold 172 in the dorms comfortably. And also another thing is that, like today, I think we had seniors do a dorm tour. Tomorrow we're having juniors do a dorm tour. We're taking sophomores through and freshmen through, because a lot of those kids have never seen our dorms. And I was kind of amused when I was headed out during lunch. The kids were coming back in the building for class, and I heard them comment how nice it looked over there. And I was talking to Kanan about one of his relatives that's living in a dorm. We've really worked hard to get those dorms like home. And that's what we're trying to do, is promote those and, maybe have more dorm kids, higher population in the dorms.
How many dorm rooms do you have?
It's probably half of that 172, whatever that come out to. I don't know the actual count. I can get them for you, and if you'd like, and get them to Gail, and she could send that out. We have 2 stories in the dorms. We have what we call an honors dorm, but it's actually a wing of the boys' dorm. And the girls have the same thing. They have a wing that we call the honors wing. And both of those have 10 rooms in them. And it's pretty competitive to get in those rooms.
Did you say, are they full? Are the dorms full?
No, they're not full.
Could you give us how many you have and then how many are empty? Or how many of-
Well, we have 64 at this time, and we can put 172 in there without much trouble. We were up to 122 2 years ago. We were adding about 20 a year.
Is that for both dorms, 172, or is that for one dorm? Both. I was just throwing some rough numbers around here. With the $3 million we get from the BIA at 400 students, it's about $7,500 per kid. And then you said that if they stay in a dorm, it doubles that. So that'd be $15,000 per kid. If we put 172 kids in the dorm at $15,000 a piece, it's $2.5 million. And then the other 100 or 230 kids, that makes up the 400 kid enrollment total. That's an extra 1.7 million. If we fill their dorms up, to make long story short, you're going to have a $1.2 million increase in your budget. And so the question is in our enrollment, when we're accepting kids, do we make that a...
They get extra bonus points if they're going to stay in a dorm to help them on their application.
Is that a policy or...
Mm-hmm.
We might need to look at that.
Yeah, our school board passed it a little over a year ago.
Or maybe have it like where 50% of... Make it where 50 or 60% of the total student enrollment have to live in the dorms. Put that policy in there.
Well, it's hard to make them, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, just for funding. And then with the incentive of staying in the dorms, the kids go on field trips and such.
We always have several things for incentives. There's more activities during the count week, which is the last week of September into the second week of October. We had cookouts, just a few extra things that we would normally have. We send them to the movies, without the incentive week. There's a lot of things that we do, but the dorm staff put together a pretty good calendar for the count week.
Okay.
And like I said, we went from 59 5 years ago. The year before I came back, we jumped up to 60 or 70 something. And each year we got up to 122 2 years ago. And then we had our construction issue. And 76 is all we could take. So they had to stay in Jack Brown, and there's 2 showers in Jack Brown. And that was a tough deal. We haven't bounced back from that yet, but we're working and planning and trying to get ideas of getting more kids
Then
in.
the concurrent enrollment that you were discussing a while ago, that funding comes from Sequoia High School or Cherokee Nation?
Sequoia now, yeah.
Is there any way that we could take that funding out of the concurrent enrollment funding? Jennifer? Is Jennifer still with us?
Yeah, it's something that we're talking with the treasurer and administration about, if we can do that. Because the Sequoia grant allows for non-citizens to be funded out of the grant. And so they would just pick up their Cherokee citizens from the grant also. So that's why that was changed this year.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good report. Any other questions? Yes, Councilman Lake.
Well, I wonder how many more students on a teacher basis we're going to have, if you increase your student load, will we need to hire more teachers, I assume?
I think we could handle that for a while. I don't think there would be an urgent need to hire extra teachers.
I like the incentives. If I was a high schooler, incentive packages are good.
Yeah, they are.
Pizza at lunch.
For extra $7,500.
Well, we proclaim to be the school of choice, and that's what we're trying to produce and keep and maintain.
All right, Councilman Critton.
Just have a question. All the money in the budget that's approved to go to Sequoia School, do you get all of that, or is there somewhere else?
The money in which budget? The BIE budget?
No, the Cherokee Nation budget.
Hey, Jennifer, would you explain to the council how the BIE funds come in and then how Cherokee Nation supplements the rest of it?
The last 2 years, there's been a little bit of a shortfall, and so we wait, kind of project out, let them expend their budget, and then if there's a need, then the tribe will supplement that need.
But then-
And so it just kind of varies from year to year. I
There's
mean, just
money,
like-
there's money put in to the big budget we get
Yes.
for
Sequoia.
Sequoia.
Uh-huh.
And my question was, do they get all of that?
Yes. So the BIE funds for special ed, for the cafeteria, for the dorms, all of that is earmarked for Sequoia. They use their federal funds first, and then their car tag money, and then if we need to, then we'll look at supplementing the difference.
So that the school don't actually get it? It kind of depends on what they spend, kind of? Okay.
Yeah, because the education, the cafeteria, those are in what you'll see, the education administration budget for Sequoia. And that's kind of the school operations, and then from there, we've got Title I, Gifted and Talented, kind of broke off from there, and all of that is earmarked for Sequoia.
I'm about to catch on to that stuff.
Hey,
Thank you.
Councilman and Jennifer, if I may interject here. So we get roughly ballpark $3 million from BIA or BIE, and it goes to Sequoia budget. And then normally during budget time, we put in an extra $2 million, $2.2 million, somewhere around there. And out of that 2.2, once they exhaust that $3 million, then whatever's left, that 2.2 fills in, and then whatever they don't lose goes into carryover, and it's funds you can use in the gen fund, however.
Thank you. I'll get it one of these days. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
We have an announcement. We have a young lady in the audience named Carrie Spencer. Carrie, please stand up. Carrie is the executive director over RISE, and she's always advocating for youth that get caught up in sex trafficking. And she's passed out a little folder for you guys. Would you like to kind of brief us really shortly on kind of your program and what this is?
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, I did want to say how much I really appreciate being a member of the Cherokee Nation. Both of my daughters have been able to benefit from the scholarship program. My oldest daughter got a scholarship in order to be able to get her license as a cosmetologist, and she works here in town. And my oldest daughter actually was able to accrue 36 hours of concurrent enrollment in her junior and senior year at Tahlequah High School, and then she has a scholarship to attend Fort Lewis and Durango. So I really appreciate all that you guys do and how much you help the Cherokee kids. I am, again, as a Cherokee citizen, I have founded, at the inspiration of my oldest daughter, this program called RISE. We exist for one purpose, and that is to open a long-term residence for girls in Oklahoma who've been victims of sex trafficking or commercial sexual exploitation, which includes exotic dancing, child pornography, and prostitution. Nationwide, we have up to 300,000 minors that are trafficked for the first time every year, and that's a number from the FBI. And even though we have that number of children every year, it's figured about every 2.5 minutes, average age 13, that a young lady is introduced into the sex trade. We have less than 500 beds nationwide for these kids once they're recovered. And so that's why RISE wants to come in and help our Oklahoma girls who have suffered through sex trade and sexual exploitation. We want it to be a long-term residence for girls between the ages of 12 and 18 who will live there for as long as they need to get all of the services that they need to be recovered from having been exploited in this way. Regular foster care is not appropriate for these girls, and they are, most of them, in DHS custody once they're recovered. So we would be licensed by DHS and work very closely with DHS with services. I've had an opportunity to speak with Nikki Baker. She has seen some girls through Indian Child Welfare who have been affected this way. So we would work very closely with Cherokee Nation Indian Child Welfare as well to be licensed with them to accept girls who have been part of Indian Child Welfare, not just girls who are with regular DHS. We have almost 14,000 animal shelters in the United States, which is an important program. When you think about our kids and how we are woefully lacking in the number of beds for kids that are being hurt in this way, we really want to step up, and we want to give them the things that they need so that they can get away from the sex trade and live productive lives. We want to include education, job skills, life skills training, all of those things, their mental health services, medical care, all of those things, a comprehensive and then individualized set of programs. In that packet for you, I included the December 2016 article that just ran in the Cherokee Phoenix about our program, and along with some highlights, headlines from stories that have occurred here in the state of Oklahoma over the past couple years, and an introduction of a little bit further in depth, but not the full picture of what we want to do at RISE, along with bios of our board members, two of which are doctors at Three Rivers Health Clinic in Muskogee. So, I appreciate your time, and I'd love to have the opportunity to speak to you again. Would be really appreciative with a partnership with Cherokee Nation, if it were available, perhaps with any buildings that may be available that Cherokee Nation isn't using that might be suitable for remodeling for this, and or if there might be any financial partnership that we could work together on.
Hey, Carrie, we have some grants coming down the pike, so I would stay in close communication with Ms. Baker.
Okay?
And we also appreciate the awareness that you brought to this body.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys so
All right,
much.
you have a Merry Christmas. All right, see you. Miss Diane, we almost missed you back there. Sorry.
Well, I apologize. I had another meeting and it ran over, and I kept trying to get out of there. But executive finance and education go before me, and I go last, so I thought, well, maybe I have some time. Just want to say Merry Christmas to all of you and Happy New Year to you. And I know that all of y'all had events going on throughout the 14 counties, and I've heard very good things going on out there. So you guys are doing a good job of letting the people know what's going on. We had a Christmas open house down in Sallisaw last Thursday, and Councilman Warner was there. It was, I think I told you in one of our meetings that Oklahoma chose to close 4 of them, and they just happened to be in our area. And in order for them to provide service, they had to find a place to go, or they were going to be relocated. And Michelle Bish, who was with the Northeast area up north, and Debbie Bush down south, asked if there was any space that we had. So we said we could find space in Sallisaw because we see it as a viable partner, because anytime we go out and work with a new business coming into the area, or we're looking at going out and doing OJT contracts, the state sometimes has people that can go out with our staff and they can help us recruit. And so we're very excited. The young man in Sallisaw is Isaac Bernarski, who is a Cherokee tribal member who's working with us down there in the workforce office. And we had a ribbon cutting Christmas open house last Thursday. And then we've got one this Thursday scheduled in Pryor. But this one is a partnership with Pryor Public Schools in the Mid-America Industrial Park. They actually have an alternative program where they work half a day with manufacturing companies. The other half day they're in the alternative program. So there was space in the back part of our building, and it was renovated, and they put their classrooms back there. When we got back there, we found there was a little more space than we thought was back there. And we started having trouble down there at Sportsman Acres with the little cop that was stopping all of our people that was going out to Cherokee Heights to get tested. So we thought, well, maybe we could move that testing center up there to our office. And so we renovated that. And so we are actually having this open house this Friday for the partnership with Pryor Public Schools. But it's also to show everybody our new testing center that's going to be there in the park. And we're real excited because when you look at the number of people that's going through that testing center there in Pryor, it has a lot of traffic going through there. And we anticipate that it will be in use just about every day once it gets relocated. So with just 27 centers testing all over the whole state of Oklahoma, and us having 3 of them, we have a lot of traffic coming through there. So I know that Council Lady Taylor and Councilman Austin are going to be there. All of y'all are invited to come. We're going to have some good refreshments. The chief's going to cut a ribbon, and the Pryor Public Schools will be there. And I think some of the state people might even show up. You never know. They've told us they might, so we'll see. But anyway, I'd encourage you to come out. It's going to be this Friday at 1 o'clock in Pryor. And then we're going to leave there and go over to Claremore to the housing office that we house on one end of it. Northeast workforce is coming in. Our office is there, and so we're having a Christmas open house and ribbon cutting over there in Claremore at 3 o'clock on Friday. So I'd like to have you come if you can. We also have a lot of things going on. Job Corps will be sending students home for the Christmas holidays, and they are still up there in the high rankings. And I know you were talking about dorms at Sequoia. Those numbers up there, and they want us to keep those dorms full all the time. So our outreach admissions counselors are out there recruiting students. We have new ones come in every week and new ones going out. And I just want to toot Job Corps' horn because they have really been working hard to keep their performance standards up. And there have been other centers throughout the state of Oklahoma as well as other states where they've went out and done spot reviews. And I think one here in Oklahoma has had 2 spot reviews. And so far we haven't, but that's because our performance standards are up there. And we also have a safety environment for the students. They do a safety review every year, and the safety review was very high on our performance. So I know that there's some good positive things going on over there. Any questions?
Your report. Have any questions? Yes, Councilor Frank Ferguson.
And are we losing the employment folks in Stillwell?
Are you going to see any
Are
employment?
we losing them? Are they moving out of our building there in Stillwell?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I heard rumors that they were being taken out. The state was taking them and bringing them back to Tahlequah.
Oh, the state did shut the OESC, Oklahoma Employment Security Commission. They did. They moved that one office, but the workforce is still there.
Over here, or is
No,
it-
they can still do it over there in Stillwell, but it's a system. And
Okay, all
no,
right.
they still have their offices there. We
Okay.
made sure of that.
All right, thank you.
Councilwoman Taylor.
I was just gonna say, the only reason I let Anna go in front of you last time was because she hates having to follow you, because you're always so positive and everything. And I expect to get a call from the police officer at Sportsman Acres about his revenue dropping since you moved your testing center out of there. So, just my 2 comments.
But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Ann and I are real good friends, and it was so funny because I said something about, I said, well, I'm the Mickey Mantle, and she's the Roger Barris, and somebody said, who's that? So that tells you how old I am. Thank you.
Any other questions? Diane, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Happy
to
New
you.
Year.
Oh, and thank you, Fonzie, for helping my girls out with their skit. They got 2nd place.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I dislocated my hip on that one move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We fill out an incident report.
Yeah, it's calm. All right, here, a motion to adjourn. Move, second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.